Yo, 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 what's good with it, y'all? It's your boy Lamborghini Preem back once again talking this boxing. Well, it's not boxing today. We fucking with MMA today. And as always, make sure you check out my all new album, It's My Turn, the Throne Ascension LP. It's a motherfucking classic and it's available literally everywhere music can be found digitally. That's iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify, Pandora, Tidal. Big shout out to Tidal. Shit, Amazon Music, shit, even YouTube Music. Is literally anywhere digital music is found. You just search The Supreme General and I shall appear. Also, if you fuck with me the long way, make sure you hit up my official site, hustlegameboss.com/shop, and cop your official Supreme General merchandise today. You know what I'm saying? Fuck with me the long way. You know what I mean? It's always appreciated all the way around. With that being said, let's go on to this video. Now this one right here is it's a combination of videos. It's a post-fight analysis of the Jon Jones versus Gustafsson. I hope I pronounced that right, man. I don't want to disrespect that man. Alexander, we call him Alexander or whatever. But it's the post-fight to their rematch, and in addition to that, it's just my thoughts on where Jon Jones is right now with his career, and my thoughts on the whole Tyrannoball debacle that almost basically ruined the fight. Let's start at the top here. The fight was a hell of a fight. Jon Jones showed that he's still Jon Jones. You know, that tactically and skill-wise, he's probably the greatest MMA fighter ever, with the exception of Mighty Mouse Johnson, of course. Big shout out to the great, legendary Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson. I want to send him a lot of love, you know what I'm saying? He's, in my opinion, is between him, Jon Jones, and Anderson Silva as to who the greatest MMA male fighter is in history. Between all three of those guys, and you can pick any of them, and you know you wouldn't get an argument from me. So I'm just gonna say that Jon Jones displayed his dominance once again. You know, and to be honest, I don't think the steroids played a factor in the fight. I don't think it was a relentless aggression type victory, or a victory where it was a one-hitter quitter on a motherfucker, or it was something like that. It was just more attrition, you know. And to be honest, to give you, you know, full disclosure, I'm not a steroid expert, so I couldn't tell you what Tyrannoball does for you as an athlete. I don't know. That ain't my style, you know what I mean? All the food I eat is organic. I don't even fuck with GMO food, so you know I ain't finna put no goddamn steroid type chemicals in my motherfucking body, so I can't relate to that shit personally. But as far as do I think he was juicing? Yeah, hell yeah, he was fucking juicing. There ain't no motherfucking question in my mind he was juicing. This man. Yo, look, you don't test positive for anything, or not even test positive. They found whatever they said, a picogram. How it get there? It got there because you was taking that shit, cuz. No disrespect to anybody who's been popped with steroids, and this is for everybody. It's not just Jon Jones, because a lot of motherfuckers get popped and we don't hear about it, because I think maybe the first test or whatever, you know what I'm saying, some shit, or it's up to the discretion of the opponent. You never fucking know. They always have loopholes where you're not gonna necessarily find out about certain high level motherfuckers. But to keep it a buck, to keep it a beam, man, if it's ever anything found in your system, it got there because you put it there. I don't give a fuck about whether you was doing supplements, or you know, it's in some of the food in Mexico, like a certain boxer, you know what I'm saying? A certain few boxers use that motherfucking excuse about the meat in Mexico and shit. Like, the fuck out of here. Like, yo, look, I'm on the East Coast of the United States, and I knew that the motherfucking meat in Mexico was tainted. You gonna tell me that none of these athletes knew? Like, they just found out after they got popped on testing? Like, come on, man. That's a built-in excuse, you know. And in Jon Jones' case, I don't know what the fuck kind of fuckery was pulled to make it happen, but I'm glad it was pulled to make it happen, though. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm glad we got the fight. And to be honest with you, man, I know people don't want to hear this shit, but this is just a simple fact. I know a bunch of MMA fighters personally, and I want to say about 90% of the motherfuckers are juicing. That's on all levels, from the root to the fruit, from the bottom to the top. You know what I'm saying? They all juicing. You know, it's just you got to be smart enough to hire the right guy to get you around the test, man. That's basically what the top level guys. It seems this is just what I've been told from other people. So this is really not much more than conjecture coming from based on rumors that I've heard. So I don't want to make this seem like it's some concrete fact, but no, nigga, nah. I'm not really tripping on that. That's just me personally. You know what I mean? You got guys like Lesnar. For Lesnar to ever compete, nobody can convince me that there was ever a point in Brock Lesnar's MMA career that he wasn't juicing. Period. So, and then you got Alistair Overeem. You got a bunch of these guys, man, fucking with that juice. Even Silva, the Spider, you know what I mean? Towards the end of his career, he started juicing, I believe it's more mental than anything else, I mean, of course your body physically deteriorates, but when you're talking about a sport like MMA, you have so many variables that you could last a little bit longer than, in other sports where athleticism is like key. In MMA, athleticism is a great tool to have, but it's just one tool. You know what I'm saying? You have so many different things that you can do to negate that. So many different things you can do to totally, take whatever that that level of aggression. You could totally have a strategy to totally take that out. Like, I don't know, like them leg kicks and shit. Like, if you got a guy who's an aggressive, very strong puncher and he's juiced to the gills and you start leg kicking him, none of that shit matters. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it is what it is. That's just how I look at it. I'm not really tripping on the drug test. Plus, if Gustafsson decided to go on with the fight, then that's what it is. Whatever carrot they dangled in his face to have him not want to pull out the fight or cancel or switch at the last minute, and shout out to him for not doing that. I probably would have, because I'm not finna let nobody face me juiced up. But that only tells me like cause I always look at it like this: if one guy's on juice and the other guy can compete with him, and it's not necessarily just based on skill, then that tells me that guy was probably juicing too. You know what I'm saying? It's just like the I like to call it the track and field theory. If you have a Marion Jones, right, and she's doing her thing, and then you got all these other girls, and they're even competing with her, that lets you know that they probably was on some shit too. They probably wasn't on this shit as good as her, or they weren't as efficient at doing it correctly, or she probably has some God-given ability. Well, she definitely has some world-class speed gifted to her from the Most High, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you add that juice in with it, and it just takes you to that next level, and that's just what happens. But if these women were competing with her and on the same level and even close to where she was at, then they probably was popping a pill or two too. So I mean, that's just my opinion. I don't trip on it. Steroids shit. I only trip on certain sports. I trip on steroids in boxing in particular. I normally would trip on it in MMA, but it's just so many guys, man, that's been popped for that shit. Number one. Number two, it's to me like in boxing, like, okay, you can have two fighters that's evenly skilled, and if you give one guy an athletic advantage, he could possibly kill the other guy. It's the same thing in MMA, but not necessarily, because number one, I believe MMA fights are stopped a lot faster than boxing fights. That's number one. But number two, it's just so many things you could do to stop. Like, actually, let me take that back. Let me take all that back. I want to recant all that shit. The doping is just as bad in either sport, because somebody could really get hurt, man. As I'm really sitting here thinking about the shit, man, I really ain't got no leg to stand on with that point. So I'm gonna just totally take that back, man. The bottom line is this: if you're juicing, you shouldn't fight. But if your opponent is juicing and you decide to still fight, then I don't feel bad for you. Bottom line, you know what I'm saying? I don't, because you knew what time it was going into it. And to me, though it's not an even playing field physically, it's an even playing field mentally, because you knew. You know what I'm saying? And to me, like I said, man, if it was me, I'm pulling out. I don't give a fuck about no fans, no testing. I mean, it's not no testing, but none of the ramifications that come behind it. Nah, because I'm not getting in there and this guy's juiced to the gills, But if a fighter is comfortable with getting in there when the other fighter is juiced up, on any level juiced up, because I don't think Jon Jones was juiced to the gills, but he was definitely juicing. I mean, that's clear. You don't fail tests if you're not juicing, so And that's how I'm gonna look at this shit, straight up. I mean, at the end of the day, I just gotta basically put it to one of those things where it's like, yo, Jon Jones is one of the greatest MMA fighters. It's getting towards the end of his career. He may feel like he's slipping a bit athletically, and then that's probably the reason why he's juicing. It's not a good enough excuse to me, and it's gonna come back to bite him in the ass, especially legacy-wise. But that's what you choose when you juice. You know what I'm saying? You choose to have your whole legacy questioned thereafter. You know, just to get a few more years, good juice squeezed out that fruit. You know, so it's sad to see that, but to be honest, ain't nobody gonna beat Jon Jones, not until he retires. That's my opinion. He had plans to go to heavyweight before, you know, he got popped the last time when he beat the guy or whatever, and he was supposed to go fight Brock Lesnar. It was a DC beat, I think, and he's supposed to be going to fight Brock Lesnar next. I'm okay with that fight. They might as well not even bother with USADA for that fight. Just let it bang. You know what I mean? Let him sign waivers and let it bang. But even if Jon Jones is not on the juice, I don't think Daniel Cormier can beat him. I think Jon Jones lives in Cormier's mind, and as much as I hate to say it, because I'm a bigger fan of Daniel Cormier than I am Jon Jones, even though I like Jon Jones a lot. I fuck with Jon Jones, but because I like the root for the villain. You know what I'm saying? I like the root for the villain, so I fuck with Jon Jones heavy. But I love DC, man. I love what he represents. I love the fact that he's a man's man. You know what I'm saying? I can respect DC on a lot of levels. I don't understand the hate that he gets at all. But to be honest, Jon Jones is just his Achilles heel, man. He's never going to... I think he knows. I think he knows that, too. I think he knows that he's not going to ever beat Jon Jones. He's as my man Chronicles of Judah so eloquently put it, he's in awe of Jon Jones' ability while at the same time despising him. To me, it's a lot like Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? DC's like Peyton Manning. You know what I mean? He got all the records, got all the awards, you know, but he's still not better than Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? You know, it just is what it is. Like at the highest level, you can see the difference between him and Tom Brady, and that's the same way with DC and Jon Jones. Steroids aside, all the shit talk aside, all that shit aside, the coke and all that shit, so put it all to the left, because Jon Jones is a troubled soul, man. He's a tortured individual mentally. I believe he got some issues he probably dealing with that don't nobody necessarily know about. Maybe some depression type shit. You know, that's usually what take motherfuckers down that drug path. But no matter what, even with all that shit, DC know he can't fuck with Johnny Bones Jones, man. He know he can't. So, I mean, honestly, if I was DC, man, I might take another cupcake fight and go on and retire, man. Take that bag and retire. Because you know when you fight Jon Jones again, you're probably going to lose again. And it's going to fuck with you mentally. And to be honest, you won't know whether Jon Jones is clean or not in this fight. So what's the point? You know what I'm saying? It's really no point. Unless, of course, DC feels like he finally figured out. Because that could happen. That could happen, man. With Jon Jones eating his food the first two times, maybe he gleaned something from those two fights. Because the second fight, he did a lot better. Gotta say, man. Till the head kick, man, DC was doing all right in that fight. You know, I mean, he was getting beat, but he was doing all right, and he was doing better than he was doing in the first fight. So I give DC his props, man. But I don't see him taking nothing from Jon Jones, and I really don't. I don't think he thinks that he can beat Jon Jones either. But I mean, he's a man's man, and as such, he's probably gonna fight Jon Jones that third time, and he's gonna gain my respect as he deserves, and he's probably gonna take an L. You know what I'm saying? And it is what it is. I mean, Jon Bones will be 2-8 world champion, and to be honest, he will deserve it. He will deservedly so go down as one of the greatest MMA fighters in history, and that's just some shit I would love to see. You know, I got a lot of respect for it either way. But even if it doesn't go that way, if I'm wrong and DC beats Jon Jones, which would, if he does, that's it. That's the pinnacle. DC is now, he's the fucking man. He should get movies. He should get fucking commercials. All that shit. You know what I mean? If he able to fuck around and beat Jon Jones in that third fight at heavyweight, that would cement to me. It will put DC up into the upper echelon, into that greatest fighter, MMA male fighter conversation, along with Anderson Silva, Mighty Mouse Johnson, and Jon Jones, because Jon Jones still be up there in my opinion. He's done enough right now to put himself up there. So, but if DC was able to finally beat Jon Jones in a clean victory, no bullshit, no controversy, no nonsense, no contest of shit getting overturned because of Jon Jones being a fiend, you know what I'm saying? None of that shit, then you have to throw DC up there. And again, I want to give DC his props, man, because if Jon Jones didn't exist, DC would be there. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is, man. But, with that being said, I'm looking forward to the next fight from both these guys. I don't know if they'll be fighting each other next. That probably should be the move, because both these gentlemen, neither of them are spring chickens, and this is the MMA world. Anything can happen. There are no gimmies in MMA or boxing. There's no gimmies, they call them tune-up fights. That don't mean shit. It's a tune-up for you, but for the dude coming in, it's the opportunity of a lifetime. So he will be coming to try to take your motherfucking head off. But at the end of the day, man, Johnny Jones, man, you gotta stay off the powwow, and you gotta stop fucking with the juice, man. You know what I mean? Or like I said, well, I'm not even gonna say that. I'm just gonna leave it there. Stop fucking with the juice. Stop fucking with the powwow, you know what I mean? Wait till your career's over, and then you can sniff, smoke, do all the shit you want to fucking do as far as that go. You can juice to the motherfucking gills like Chael Sonnen probably doing. You know what I'm saying? You can do what you want to do once you in that announcer's booth, but while you in that octagon, man, we need you to keep your nose clean and not fuck up this money no more, man. Real talk, man. You got real fans out here. We fuck with you the long way, and we want to see you at the height of this sport, because that's where you should have been a long time ago. I mean, you've been there, but you should have never fell off, you know what I'm saying? You should have never fell off. So look at that man in the mirror. Get your motherfucking mind right, Jon Jones. And let's get this shit cracking, man. I'm going to see you back on top. Shout out Daniel Cormier. Shout out Alexander Gustafsson. I'm really sorry if I'm butchering your last name, dog. It's not intentional. Also, big shout out to Johnny Bones Jones, man. The new light heavyweight UFC champion of the world. And possibly one of the greatest fighters ever, man. Shout out to everybody. Dana White too. I fuck with you too, man. You a hustler, man. I respect it. So all the way around. Alright, man. With that being said, I'm on to the next one, man. I'm gonna holler at y'all 100.